Is this the most dangerous course? Let's find out. Welcome back to One Guy, One Course, One Disc. We're here today in Atlanta, Georgia, checking out Dekalb Memorial Disc Golf Course. You're going to hear a lot of cars in the background because this course is right next to Interstate 20. So let's go take a look at the course. Hole 1 is a 235-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 16 feet. You got 32 feet to this gap here, which is 15 feet wide. It's going to be a straight shot with a right finish. And the tree right before the basket is 26 feet before it. But once you finish hole number 1, hole 2 is going to be to your right. Hole 2 is a 300-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 3 feet. You're going to have 202 feet to this tree that sticks out the furthest end of the fairway. And you're going to have a slight turn to the left there. And you're going to go about another 80 feet before you got to turn into the wood line to get to the basket. From this tree that sticks out, it's 96 feet to the basket, which is tucked just behind a tree here on the left. But once you finish hole number 2, hole 3 is going to be to your left up by the road. Hole 3 is a 289-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 4 feet. You have these tunnel of trees that line the fairway, giving you roughly 15 feet to work with at the narrowest point. But then it does widen up just a little bit as you get further down the fairway. This last tree on the right is probably going to be your one tree that you really need to beat. It's 208 feet from the tee pad. Once you finish hole number 3, hole 4 is going to be behind you to the right. Hole 4 is a 302-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 2 feet. It's a pretty wide open shot. Ideally, you want to bring it out to the right and let it finish left. If you do want to go left to right, you do have a tree limb you have to watch out for. That's at 133 feet. But other than that, it's wide open to the basket. Once you finish hole 4, hole 5 is going to be back down 2's fairway to the left over the bridge. Hole 5 is a 262-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 2 feet. It's a pretty straight shot with a little right finish. You do have some trees off the tee pad, but they shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then at 165, you got this tree here on the right, and then 198, the tree on the left, which make this gap you do need to hit at about 20 feet wide. But once you finish hole number 5, hole 6 is going to be straight ahead of you up the hill. Hole 6 is a 283-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 4 feet. You have 2 gaps to choose from. The left side is 15 feet wide. The right side is 10 feet wide. It's going to be 96 feet to get past this last tree, and then it's pretty open the rest of the way. The only thing you do need to be careful is the left side is the freeway, so you just want to make sure your disc is finishing to the right. And once you finish hole 6, hole 7 will be to your right down and across the ditch. Hole 7 is a 285-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 9 feet. You have 2 gaps you have to hit at 59 feet, which is 7 feet wide, and then 156 feet, which is only 6 feet wide. Definitely a tiny fairway that you need to be very careful on. Also, you still have that freeway on the left side. And then coming into the basket, you do have a skinny green, which gets smaller as you get closer. So speed control is very important coming into this green. But once you finish hole 7, hole 8 is going to be behind you to the right. Hole 8 is a 186-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 19 feet. It's a straight shot with a slight left finish. You're going to go about 130 feet, and then you're going to want to start your very slight turn to the left. But there is some trees in the way right before the basket, and rollaways are definitely a possibility on this hole with this steep incline. But once you finish hole 8, hole 9 is going to be to your left. Hole 9 is a 182-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 22 feet. While this is a short hole, definitely not an easy one because you have 2 tiny gaps you have to hit, and this tree that overhangs the fairway definitely tends to make people push the disc to the left a little more. So just find your straightest flying disc and trust it to do what it's going to do. And once you finish hole 9, hole 10 is going to be to the left. Hole 10 is a 260-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 4 feet. You're going to go straight 222 feet, and it's going to turn to the left. And you got 38 feet past the turn to get to the basket. There is a skinny fairway on the left side, but it's a lot harder to hit, so this straight gap is definitely more ideal if you can. But once you finish hole 10, hole 11 is to your left. Hole 11 is a 242-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 6 feet. This left side is probably wider, but you have this gap here at 100 feet, which is 7 feet wide. The advantage to going down the right fairway is that it's a little more open going into the basket, so your putt is going to be a little easier from the right side, but the left fairway is probably easier to get through. But once you finish hole 11, hole 12 is going to be up the stairs and to the left. Hole 12 is a 157-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 13 feet. You do have this initial tree, which you can see there's a lot of love taps, so don't feel bad if you hit it. But then this next tree is going to be at 84 feet. Then you're going to slight turn to the right and then let it finish left. And then from this tree, it's 73 feet to the basket. But once you finish hole 12, hole 13 is going to be behind you to the right. Hole 13 is a 309-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 5 feet. It's a pretty straight shot most of the way with a slight left finish. You have these trees here on the right that are at about 100 feet, and this tree here on the left that's splitting multiple directions is at 142 feet. And then there is a tree that's splitting the fairway coming up here in the middle at 70 feet before the basket, and the basket does sit on a hillside, so if you do spit out to the right, you could be going down a hill, adding 1, possibly 2 strokes. But once you finish hole 13, hole 14 will be straight ahead of you. Hole 14 is a 362-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 5 feet. It's another tight fairway lined by trees that if you get a kick to the right, it's definitely going to spell trouble for you. But once you finish hole 14, hole 15 is going to be to your right down the hill. Hole 15 is a 306-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 9 feet. This tree here in the middle of the fairway is at 131 feet. You're going to go out into the open and then it's going to finish to the right. And once you finish hole 15, hole 16 is going to be to your right up the hill near 14's tee pad. Hole 16 is a 243-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 17 feet. The big challenge here is this low-hanging branch that really gets into your head on the tee box. If you can manage to miss it, you just got to throw something straight out into the field and let it finish to the right. There are some trees that probably in years to come will be a huge menace to this hole, but right now they're not too much of an issue. But once you finish hole 16, hole 17 is going to be up the hill to the right. Hole 17 is a 307-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 8 feet. Just going to go straight out into this open field and let the disc finish to the right. And once you finish hole 17, hole 18 will be behind you, back past hole 17's tee pad. Hole 18 is a 314-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 12 feet. Right now it's a pretty open shot, but there are some trees that line the fairway on the right side, so in years to come they could force more of a shot left to right. But once you finish hole 18, the parking lot is to your left. Now just in the course, let's take a look. Today's disc is going to be the Discraft Raptor. It's a 9403, so let's go see how it flies. These next two holes pretty much parallel Interstate 20 that runs through Atlanta. And it's probably a good 75 feet from the fairway, but there is just in that back of your head, I could throw this, but that's why I like the Raptor on this hole, because I know I can get it to come back right no matter how much ante I put on it. Or you just miss the fairway completely. So there you have the Discraft Raptor at Dekalb Memorial Disc Golf Course in Atlanta, Georgia. As far as the disc goes, as you saw, super overstable disc, especially for beginners, definitely for more advanced players. As you saw, I had to put on a lot of anhyzer just to get it to go somewhat straight, so I really wouldn't suggest this for beginners. I mean, the only reason I have it is for a forehand. It's the only disc I can really throw and still get it to fade. Everything else I turn over, so this has been great for forehands for me. Also skip shots, because as you saw, it gets a lot of ground play, so rollaways are very possible with this disc, so it's just definitely not for beginners. As far as the course goes, I mean, the fact that it's inside the perimeter 285 of Atlanta is, I mean, great, because there's not a lot of space to put a disc golf course. I think it's one of 2 courses with inside I-285. That being said, though, space is limited, so it's very tight. A lot of holes are right next to each other, on top of each other, so you do got to be very careful about that. Especially if it gets a little more crowded. So probably on the weekends, I imagine it gets pretty crowded. Also, the noise from the highway is just, I mean, it's just constant cars. So it's, for me, playing disc golf is supposed to be peaceful, relaxing, and with the cars, it just kind of, it just takes that away. The navigation, though, is not that great either. There are some holes where you're definitely going to need UDIS to get to the next hole, but there are some challenging shots. You're definitely going to have forehand and backhand, and maybe some other type of shots to get through this course. Some tight lines, some open holes where you can grip it and rip it. So definitely a good variety at this course. The terrain in some spots is pretty bad, but definitely come check it out, especially if you're working, doing a work trip in Atlanta. It's a great course to get a quick round in. You can probably finish it in about an hour. So definitely come check it out if you're in Atlanta. But until next time, off to the next course.